Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
From Top Notch Sports. Today, we're going to be going over the Philadelphia Eagles off-season salary review. The Philadelphia Eagles bringing in head coach Nick Sirianni. I can't wait to see what this team does. Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie. Is it Carson Wentz? Is it Jalen Hurts? Who's it going to be? A lot of questions, but we're going to go over their salary cap with the new estimated $185 million salary cap that just came out the other day. We were debating whether it's 175 or 185. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 185 million now. So let's hop right in. I'll have Mike explain the first slide, and we'll go over the moves that we think you guys should make this offseason. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so here we are. We're starting off at a negative $51.2 million. Howie Roseman has his team in an absolutely awful position financially, which he tends to do from time to time. Now, if you look around the roster, can't really cut anybody. You can cut Derek Barnett, but you're going to gain $10 million, and that's not going to help you in the long run. You're still going to be minus 41 in the hole. Javon Hargrave is a loss. That was a big signing from a couple years ago. You can't cut Lane Johnson. You really can't get rid of a lot of these older players because of the stupid extensions Howie Roseman has put on them. Now, let me explain this real quick. The green is money you will save, and the red is dead cap. So if you cut them, you're going to lose that money this season. So if you're looking at this screen here, they really don't have many directions to move in. You can cut Deshaun Jackson and save 4.9. Potentially Zach Ertz, we've heard, is a potential trade candidate. So you can free up that. That gets you about 10, a little more than 10, but it's still in a grand scheme of things, negative 51 million. You're not getting out of that hole this year. So the Eagles need to make smart decisions, very smart decisions to be successful this season. I think they're going to struggle, to be honest with you. But let's move on to the next slide.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as Mike, as an Eagles fan, he's going to know a lot about this team and this roster. But real fast, let me break this down. Again, you got Jalen Hurts here. I mean, depending on who they go with, it sounds like Carson Wentz is going to be traded. We'll be doing videos on that soon. You got the offensive line here. Not a bad offensive line when they're healthy, Mike. You can probably admit to that, correct?
Well, yeah. See, the thing with this offensive line is they are solid when healthy, but we haven't seen Andre Dillard healthy at all. So we don't know what Andre Dillard's even going to bring to the table. Can't move on from him because you're losing money. Jordan Mailata might be the starting left tackle for this team. Like this
Absolutely.
Team shambles. Like we have no idea they can't free up any money.
Yep, and then I know from your center to your right tackle position, this is all great. Isaac Sayamalu, I think he's pretty good too, isn't he? I don't know much about him.
Player. He's an average left guard. He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to be phenomenal.
But again, this whole right side of the line is absolutely phenomenal. And Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks, and Lane Johnson. Again, your tight end position, you got Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. We know about those two. Jackson, Foldham, I know that's how you say. Jalen Reagor. You got Maddox, who you say plays better in the slot, correct?
Yeah, Maddox is going to be around. They had Maddox in a bad scheme this season. Doesn't make sense to cut him. He's young. He'll be back next year. Maybe they add a corner in the draft. They put Maddox in the slot where he should be playing.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll go over that in a second. And lastly, this defensive line is very solid, in my opinion. Maybe slightly overpaid with some of these money. But again, you got someone like Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham that's been there for years. Hargrave, who played good for you guys this year, and Derek Burnett, who I like coming out of college. Linebacking core, all young kids. Marcus Epps at safety, and then you got Rodney McLeod. So let's hop right into it, like you said before, and look at the notable losses. I'll have you break this down. Go ahead.
Now, notable losses first, I'd like to give a shout-out and thank our numbers man, Noah, the meter stick Thompson, for figuring all this out. Expected salary, percent snaps played. He's a smart guy with the numbers. We couldn't do it without him. Now, they're going to lose the Green Goblin, Jalen Mills. He's been a part of this team for a long time, was on the Super Bowl winning team, made the switch from cornerback to safety this year. Most likely will not be back unless Howie Roseman somehow figures something out. It's going to be a 1 year, $4 million is the expected salary, and he played 91.9% of the snaps. Then we got Nickel Roby Coleman. Didn't perform well this season at all. Only played 55.6% of the snaps. He's expected a 1 year, $1.4 million deal. We got Duke Riley, linebacker. He plays 61.6% of the snaps. He's expected a 2-year deal worth $2.5 million. And we got this terrible guy, Nate Jerry, the White Rhino or White Snake. His estimated contract is 2 years, $1.5 million. He only played 43.4% of the snaps, and he was noticeable. Then we got Greg Ward. Greg Ward will be a big loss. He's been here for a while, stepped up as a wide receiver. He's expected a 1-year deal worth $1 million, and he played 70% of the snaps this season. Then we got Alex Singleton, standout linebacker. He's expected a 1-year, $2.4 million deal, and he plays 67.9% of the snaps. And then Cameron Johnson, he's been here for a long time. He's expected a 2-year, $1.4 million deal. He only plays 6.5% of the snaps. He's expected to be gone also.
Absolutely. So real fast, I'm going to go back to this real fast. This is who's currently under contract, right, on defense and offense. And this is currently who's going to be a free agent this upcoming offseason, unless you guys sign them with negative cap money, which doesn't seem likely right now. But again, typically you want to bring back the guys that play a high percentage of snaps to keep familiar faces around, to keep some continuity. And somehow we all know Howie Roseman. He's a numbers guy. He will probably find a way to bring back some of these guys. But let's go right on to the next slide where I'll break down the moves that we feel like you guys are going to make. So here's your potential targets this year. Estimated cap saves, that's negative $51.2 million. Your estimated cuts are Deshaun Jackson, you save $4.9 million. And Zach Ertz, who we're going to have be traded in a second. We'll show you over in that second. That's going to save you $4.7 million. In total, you save $9.6 million in cap savings, which leaves you at $41.6 million in estimated cap space available. Estimating signings. Well, with our numbers that we have made, we have negative $41.6 million. Therefore, we can't make any signings. With reconstructions of contracts and a few things that we know that he might do with Alshon Jeffrey, Malik Jackson, right?
Yep.
All those moves, you guys could very well find yourselves working your way out of this hole. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But again, cutting Alshon Jeffrey right now would be negative. But if you can reconstruct that contract in a way, you guys can definitely get back to the positives. It would be tough. You might barely make it there, but this year is going to be a little bit more of a, let's just get Nick Sirianni comfortable in this team and let him start implementing some of his game plans and coaching staff this year so they can build some continuity with each other. I wouldn't expect big things this year. But you know the Eagles, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow find a way to make the playoffs. This would be the year that they do it somehow. Anyway, trade Zach Ertz for a late third-round pick for a 2021 pick. That could get you a third-round pick. Ertz frees you up that $4.7 million in cap space. You also your team needs. Let's see what we're drafting this offseason. Again, unfortunately, you're not signing nobody. So you're going to have a really good draft. First round, we're going to get you guys Jamar Chase with your first round pick. And then the second round, Asante Samuel Jr. I know that was a Mike pick right there. I told him, who do you want to choose? Who's available? Mike will win Asante Samuel Jr., bringing back a little bit of nostalgia from Asante Samuel. Again, you still got to address the middle linebacker, weak side linebacker, and strong side linebacker positions, and maybe your strong safety. Go ahead, Mike.
The whole linebacker core, no one is solidified unless they find a way to bring Singleton back. But right now, from our numbers, that doesn't look possible. But let me touch on what you were saying before. At the start of the new year, they may try to reconstruct Alshon Jeffrey and Malik Jackson's deal to make it so they don't lose money to be cut. And this would most likely be because Alshon Jeffrey and Malik Jackson don't want to be in Philadelphia anymore. The Eagles don't want them there. So the two sides will work together and get something done to get them off the team.
Absolutely. And again, with that being stated, though, the reason why we're not showing you those numbers is, one, we don't know exactly what the figures are going to be. Probably somewhere around $25 million you'll save. But here's the other issue. That's going to be after free agency. So again, you're not going to be able to really sign nobody with that money that you're going to be saving. That will be for next upcoming season. So again, these are your moves. Let's look at the next slide or final slide and show you your 2021 expected lineup. Mike, go ahead.
All right. So you look at the blue, that those are drafted players. Usually there would be a green for signings, but the Eagles don't have any signings because of the money situation. So we're going to look at the blue. We bring in Jamar Chase and Asante Samuel Jr. They're instant starters. And then you go look at the yellow at TJ Edwards and Marcus Epps. Right now they are placeholders. We don't even know if Marcus Epps is going to start. They got Kayvon Wallace there also, so we don't know what's going to happen there. TJ Edwards, he realistically might be the starter if they don't bring Alex Singleton back. And then we got Jalen Hurts at quarterback and everything else pretty much staying the same. We do have Carson Wentz getting traded here. We just didn't do a mock trade because it's not going to affect the money situation at all. They actually might lose money.
Exactly. And again, right now you see that you're net negative 41.6. Again, this number could be a lot less in the negatives if you get rid of Jeffrey and Malik Jackson. But with that being stated, you're still in negatives. And then depending on the Carson Wentz deal, you might be right back around this number. So right now with this team, Mike, what are you seeing here? I mean,
I'm seeing a rough 2021. That's what I'm saying.
4 or 5 wins?
Realistically, 4, 5, 6 wins. But then again, it's the NFC East. You know what the NFC East is, man. Every team struggles, and the team with 8 wins, 9 wins can win this division. So you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen in the NFC East.
One thing I'm a big fan of is coaching security, and I hope that they understand that Nick Sirianni is not going to be able to dig them out of this hole that they put themselves into. Nick Sirianni is going to need time. He's going to need 5-6 years to completely rebuild and be a competitor every season, not just for a few years. If you want to really rebuild a franchise, you need 5 years, and this team needs some rebuilding. What were you going to say?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have the personnel. You can't look at this team. I mean, they got a mixture of old and young players, but the thing is, Howie Roseman doesn't draft good young players that make an impact right away. So this team is not built to win. I mean, they could because, like I keep saying, it's the NFC East, so they could win the division. But you can't sit there and expect this guy to make a big difference year one or even year two because of the personnel on this team and the inability to make moves.
Exactly. And it's still, again, like Mike has listed, the yellows are placeholders. These guys can potentially be replaced. We're still going to draft a middle linebacker, probably a safety in this year's draft, maybe an outside linebacker, right? These are all positions that still need to be established. And maybe, honestly, even another receiver. I mean, you can never have enough receivers. I would definitely be a supporter for you guys doing that because you guys know that over the last few years, drafting Rager, drafting J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, you guys can definitely use some more receivers.
They never picked the right one. They never picked the right receiver.
So hopefully this year, you guys will draft Jamar Chase. For all we know, Mike, we might be seeing someone like Rashad Bateman get drafted to the Eagles this year. Who the heck knows? So let's figure out that. But that's all. How about from you? Everything from you?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right, let us know what you guys think about this mock free agency, this mock offseason. Let us know. And until next time, we'll see you guys soon. That's all from me, Nick.
That's all from me, Mike.
Until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are
Built better.
See you guys soon. Peace.